Hey everyone, I have some good RV news to report. So this is our 2008 Itasca Navion, which we bought new back in 2008, and we've been very happy with it. And you know what? Here's the scoop. It's wintertime. We're in New England. See the snow? We're in New England, and this has been sitting here since November. And you know what? We haven't driven it anywhere, but we kind of start it every week. So even with the cold weather and the unusually cold weather that we've had in the last month, I try to get over and start it every few days. But we've got a Florida trip coming up later this week, and I didn't want to just get in the vehicle and start driving to Florida and then find something wrong with the wheels or the brakes or anything. So we went out on a little test drive this morning. So because I work at a Mercedes Sprinter dealership, I was able to get a few tips from the top techs there about using a unit for the first time in quite a while. Now, I know there's so many engineers in this group that somebody may have a differing opinion. That's fine. This is what works for me. So what we did was we started it right here. And by the way, it started every time. I didn't have to use the house batteries to start it. It started by itself, which I'm happy to report. Then we let it run for 10 minutes before we moved it at all. Put the heaters on and put the heater on, so I knew that that was working properly. And the other thing I did, which very few people, which a lot of people don't do with the Views and Navions, is I pulled the curtain. See the curtain there between the house and the front end to keep the heat where I would be driving. So we let it run for 10 minutes, and then when I took it out on the road, I ran it on surface roads for a good 5 miles without putting a lot of weight on the accelerator to speed up. So I found that it would go 35 or 40, no problem, but I didn't want to try to get it up to 65. So 4 or 5 miles on the slow roads, and then we went up to the interstate after another 10 minutes of idling and driving, and got it right back up to 65 miles an hour at 2,500 RPMs, which is normal for me. So just a couple tips. This worked for me, but when you start it, let it run for a few minutes before you go anywhere with it. And when you first go somewhere with it, make sure that you run a little bit, 40 to 45, 50 miles an hour on the surface roads before you take it on the highway. Also, you want to check your tires at the start of the season, and you know what? You should be all set. So there's always that anticipation of a long trip coming up, and our trip will be 1,500 miles one way from Massachusetts down to Daytona Beach for the Daytona 500. It's scheduled to snow here in New England on our departure day, so we may put it off a day. Now, the other thing is, I wanted to pick a day where there was no salt, active salt on the ground. So I got a dry day, because you know what happens when salt gets up into the crevices of the chassis. Not good. So have a safe trip wherever you go, and let's go RVing.